back. WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. It says so right across my wife's neck and chest. My wife is my first guest today. We are brewing for Ukraine. It takes World War III to get you out to do my show. You know,
exactly.
when it comes, totally. We're brewing for the Pravda beer folks today. We're with Hugh Sisson. That's actually it, right?
This is the red ale.
All right. And how's that going for you?
Excellent. It's very good. I can't wait to drink more of it.
All right. I can't wait to get your levels right because you're a whisperer, and
I don't try to be a whisperer.
You just are.
I just am.
You just are. Well, you know what?
I'm not as boisterous as you.
Well, we have great guests coming on. It's all brought to you by the Maryland Lottery, letting ourselves play. By the way, you're lottery girl today. So Donna Jean at 100.7. Yeah, we got some Betty Boop tickets to give away here, and the Putin Drinks Light Beer is here, and we're gonna have some other cool guests and fun. But our first guest today has just walked in. And I was going to do a whole shtick about this with you and, like, the fact that Wise is our sponsor and we shop and stuff. But we get this dressing that's a local dressing that we pour on everything, right? I mean, like, when we run out, we have to run out and get it. And sometimes you know, the cilantro lime thing and the avocado ranch thing.
I like the avocado ranch myself. But
I'm an avocado ranch person, too. I don't like cilantro as much, but I like it.
But the cilantro lime one's
real
good.
Cilantro. Kind of like, I don't
Soapy.
like that. Yeah, it is a little bit like that, but not this dressing. So Greg Vetter's going to come on. Come on up, man. We'll bring you in. Let's do it, man. This is my wife. She doesn't ever. I cracked my little dumb war joke when you came in. I said it takes World War III to get my wife to do my show, or cancer, right? You had a couple of those. Yep. A couple leukemias will get her on. But you did the show at Thanksgiving. Come on in here. We can get you on our set. Yeah. Yeah, come on in. You know what? Do we need to get you a drink or something? Are we okay?
We're good for now.
All right. Well, hold on. Let me get your headset up. There we go. All right. So I appreciate you coming out. We love your products, man.
Thank you.
Now, she caught you, about 6 weeks ago, today's show? We were living at home, so maybe 8 weeks ago.
They were actually just showing, like, organization skills, and I'm interested in that because we just moved, so I want to get everything right. And they used all your products on the set. I'm like, that's
how did that happen?
Cool.
Give me a little background on that.
We have no idea.
Come on into the shot, man. There you go. Yeah, when you can see yourself.
A bunch of people sent us that picture because I guess everybody's interested in organization, right? And it was just all the products. It was amazing. We didn't pay for it or anything.
Really?
Yeah,
Great
it was awesome.
Oh, dude, I thought that was like so product placement.
No.
Well, you know what? Did you ever find the person in New York on the set that like put it on there?
No.
Because we watch all those Food Network shows, right? And it'll look like Heinz ketchup, but the label's off of everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they would charge you big bucks to do that.
It is very expensive.
Luckily, I'm going to charge you less to do it here. We're heavy seas. We're down in the southwest part of Baltimore, and you know, I've been in touch with your family and various people, and Don Moeller and Johnny O. Like, totally love you. I was trying to get you over to Costas, and I know you've been busy. And this was the day, and it was like April Fool's Day, and I'm like, all right, we're going to do the show somewhere, and we're going to. And last week, it was a little slippery with my show this week about where we were going to do it. We had the 15th set. We're going to be at Greenmount Station. The 22nd, we're going to be at G&A Coney Island Hot Dog in White Marsh. Just got confirmation we're at Conrad's in Perry Hall on the 27th. So we got great Maryland Crab Cake tours. We're doing all this stuff. But today, it kind of slipped through the cracks. And I had seen that Hugh was doing this Ukraine. It's just an unbelievable story of what he's doing here. And I know you're a small business, family business. And we walked in here today, and I said to Jen, and I've known Hugh 30 years since he was down on Cross Street. And I said, man, there's something really humbling about walking into a family business where every piece of sweat and love and like all that's going on. But his story today is that a month ago, the Ukraine war breaks out. And this brewery, Pravda, in Lviv, Ukraine, brews this beer with this label, and they call it American Red Ale. And they literally put the recipes out and started using their bottles for Molotov cocktails. I get your bottles, dude. You know, they're plastic, but I get those things, right? So at the brewery, they're using that, and they shut the brewery down and said, anybody that wants to use our markings, anybody that wants to support us in the war, brew our beer. And here we are 4 weeks later with this is the actual American Radio. So you're coming at the right time. I mean, you could have come to any show. You could have Zoomed with me, you know. We could have put masks on during the plague. So I'm just glad you're here now, man.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Give me the story because we just love your product. I mean, literally. And I've tripped across it a couple of times in various places, and then we've sought it out. There was a little market. We lived downtown for 19 years, a little market on Cross Street. It's changed names 3 times, and, you know, Arsh has put the place together down there. But we've gone down and found it, and then sometimes there's some range, sometimes there's not. And I know you've, like, getting your word out and being on the Today Show is bigger than being on Baltimore Positive, but we still want to help you out, man, because we know you're working hard over in East Baltimore County.
We're working hard. Yeah, the story is I'm the oldest of 3 boys. We would not eat our vegetables as kids. My mom had to figure out how we were going to do that, and she made this dressing one night and just only put it on crunchy romaine lettuce.
How old are you at this point?
I'm probably like 9 or 10.
Oh, so you're real like
yeah.
And you're a little younger than me, but I'm thinking, you know, McDonald's might have had salads by then or whatever, but like I didn't eat salads as a kid because it just didn't come to us, right? You know?
Yeah. And so we just ate the whole thing. And whatever dressing was left, we were taking bread and we were wiping it up. And that began the journey of lemon garlic dressing. And so every night it was a topic of conversation. She would change, you know, the mustard she was using. She would change the oil. She would change the type of salt. And we would tell her if we liked it or not. And then that just kind of developed. And then we played sports in high school. She brought it to all the tailgates. We had team dinners.
But it was only one dressing.
It was one dressing.
And it took a month, a year to sort of make that work when you were a kid and tweaking it?
Oh, I mean, she tweaked it for years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then we played lacrosse in college. My 2 younger brothers.
Now, where'd you play?
I played at Washington College on the Eastern Shore. Brian and Matt played at Towson. Go Tigers.
All right. I was over there yesterday. Yeah, we were at the Auburn House last night. Yeah.
They're actually distinguished alumni, which I don't know what that says about who else is a distinguished alumni.
How much you have to pay for that?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. And then then we were playing in college. We're getting people all over the country. They're all saying the same thing too. This is the greatest dressing ever. And so then I graduate. My mom's still making me dressing in 2-liter bottles. And so my younger brother Brian and I are playing professional lacrosse, and then we're doing the normal work.
Where were you doing that? I've done sports a long time. I mean, Gary Gates sat here and had beckies with me back in the day, and
nice.
I mean, I was baseball side, right? So, and I'm not a guy that makes fun of lacrosse, but I don't get it.
Right.
And all the lacrosse guys, Tony Seaman, all
he
these
coached
guys.
my brothers,
right? We used to go to Flyers games together in Philly, So I've been around lacrosse people, but I was baseball, Aparicio, right? Like, so I came here as a baseball guy, right? And I don't see you're either baseball or lacrosse, but it's hard to play in both.
You can't play in both.
Right. Not well.
Right. We're not Bo Jackson.
Well, same season more than anything else.
It is.
And the difference is how big lacrosse has come. I'm 53. I don't even know how old you are. I'm assuming you're 21. I don't want to insult the guy, right? But you're younger than me, and everyone who will ever be younger than me in ball, we live in Towson area now, will have that choice between a lacrosse stick or baseball. And I've owned the station 23 years. I've been on the air 31 years. Every year it falls precipitously to the point where lacrosse is the 18-year-old person's game here. They don't identify with the Orioles or baseball or Cal Ripken or certainly not Brooks Robinson or my cousin or any of that stuff. The lacrosse community, especially in Baltimore and on all the heartbeds, or the heartland areas, Syracuse to Long Island, those places. But it's so much bigger than that when I see what's going on in Denver, what's going on the West Coast.
Yep.
Just everywhere. It's been everything Tony warned me it would be 25 years ago about, hey, this is going to catch on and everybody's going to want to do this,
right? It's fun, right? So I to kind of go on a different story, I had made a select baseball team when I was probably 9 or 10.
You're a Annapolis kid?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the coach's son was the pitcher. So he took me, who I was also a pitcher at the time, and he goes, you can go stand in the outfield. And so I'm standing in the outfield, and nothing's coming.
My dad had a term for that, Pop. He called it picking daisies.
Yes. Well, I was getting stung by bees.
Oh, that too.
Right.
That too.
And so I'm looking over at another field, and these kids are running around, and they're hitting each other with poles. and I went to my dad, who's from Ohio, and I'm like, "Hey, man, what is that?" And he goes, "I have no."
That ain't football.
Yeah,
ain't
he's
rugby.
like, he's like, "I have no idea." And I'm like, "I'm playing that." And he's like, "Well, we're not quitters, so you got to finish this season. If you want to play next year, you can." And so then
you were 10.
Yeah, I was around that time.
What's right when the dressing happened?
Yeah.
Right.
The dressing was good for the lacrosse.
I guess it's good for the joints, healthy fats.
Healthy
fat. I want to hear you talk. I'm glad you're here. Believe me, we love your product. I want to hear all about it.
So then I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and so I would come home every day at lunch, and I would literally stand on my head and wait for like a lightning bolt to tell me what I was going to do. And then one day I came home, and this 2-liter bottle of salad dressing was missing, and I called all my neighbors, called a bunch of my buddies, and one of my buddies had broken into my house, and he had taken the dressing. And it was
like an after-school movie.
Yeah.
Like crazy, right?
So I'm like, "Dude, bring it back." And so he's like, "All right, man, I'll bring it back." And so I'm sitting there, and I'm just kind of going through the salad dressing, right? And it's like, it never got old. Everybody loved it who's ever tried it. Nobody could make it properly outside of my mom. We had given the recipe to a couple people that I've had to kill since, right, to protect.
Did you have any thought about in the early days that it was only served on romaine with the tomato with carrot? Because she has like a way she makes salads.
Yep.
And they're delicious always. Like she makes and it's not like
my mother used to tell me I made the best salads. I thought she was full of crap.
No, her salad, like when she goes away and I have to make salads at home, I can dump your dressing all over, but it's not the same, right? And we've learned about like really good lettuces. We've shopped at the farmer's market, and
Which opens
my
Sunday.
friends' wives have Total Organic. I mean, we buy all sorts of stuff, but we have bought from this Eastern Shore lettuce person for the last 15 years since she had cancer. Before you had cancer, we were going to the farmer's market. So we love, and especially in the summer, the way tomatoes taste.
Yep.
I did a whole segment with Carrie Engel on growing tomatoes because we got the damn raccoons. We're out in the country now, deer are going to eat it all up. But when I'm thinking of 20 years ago, I don't know how old you are, but during whatever that was, what you would be putting it on that would make it taste good to say this is Mediterranean, because it's a Mediterranean kind of blend, right?
Well, and I think the one thing that while I was sitting there thinking about why is this a good idea to start this business, it was, we put it on everything. We marinate chicken with it. We pour it on top of everything.
See, we haven't thought of this stuff yet.
We literally would pour it in a plate, add red pepper flakes, wipe it up with bread. You had a little Parmesan cheese on top, wipe it up with bread. And every person that ever had it was like, this is the greatest salad dressing ever. And so I was kind of having this weird moment of like, man, this isn't a trend. People love salad dressing. Nobody eats dry lettuce.
Everybody eats that hidden ring.
Yeah.
And it's always
full
fattening.
of
sugar. For sure, looking at it, my wife's diabetic as well. So, but just looking at the side of them, I would always say we're better off in the refrigerated aisle for whatever we're getting from a freshness level, as opposed to the aisle 8 in Wise, right? So I would always err on that. But she and I were in a restaurant in New York right before you got cancer, Super Bowl week in 2014. So it was that Seattle-Denver Super Bowl where Peyton got his ass kicked. And the ball went over his head, and we were sitting right there. Yeah, first play of the game. So we went to dinner that week, and I ordered a dressing, and it was in like an old bank, and the place went out of business. It's New York restaurants. God bless these guys.
That champagne vinaigrette.
You gotta work on that next. So the dude, like, he was so nice to us. And we had like little sliders and a beer. We didn't spend a whole lot of money. It was elegant. It was New York. And I said, man, that's the best dressing I've ever had in my life, ever. I said, can I have that recipe? He said, sure, man. And he emailed it to me. And he's still on LinkedIn with me because I don't give up people. You and I had 263 mutual connections, so I stay in touch with people. But we had this dressing, and you made it, and it was like, okay, it was recognizable, but like finding someone to make, I'm sure you're looking for great dressings all the time, right?
We try everything, and the funniest thing is when I first started, I was looking for help, and nobody that has kind of sacrificed and grinded through it all. They're not responding to random guys thinking about doing
I've got a dressing, man.
Right.
I've got the greatest dressing in the world.
Yes, right? And everyone's like, sure you do,
I'm
buddy.
the Howard Schultz of dressings.
Yes, 100%. And so, I'm sending out emails, hey, can you help me? No one's responding back. And so still to this day, people will write and say, hey, I've got this great fill in the blank. It's not just dressing. Like, people write us all the time about all types of crazy stuff. And I call them.
Right.
Right? And it's like, hey, I've got this great salsa. All right, come on in. Talk to my brother Matt. He'll take you through the manufacturing plant and explain to you what really is going to be required to make this work. And then
now, you knew nothing about this.
Nothing.
You were a kid with a lacrosse stick.
Yes, nothing.
And grandmom's Tessemae's thing in a tub, two gallon tub.
Yeah, yep. And so it just, it evolved over 13 years. And, we have 2 manufacturing plants in Baltimore, and then we have 1 in California. And we're just grinding away, getting it done.
I would say for the local angle of this and your local story and why you're based in Baltimore, give me a little background of the business of, while we're sitting here, by the way, we're at Heavy Seas Beer. Hugh Sisson has been very kind to at least give me, it's like the old Richie Cunningham in Happy Days, just little glasses of beer, just 100 little glasses of beer. We are promoting our friends at Pravda here over in Ukraine. We have the Putin Drinks Light Beer shirts, and we're going to be here all day, but this is going to be hitting local taverns, and this is the distribution. This is where I'll bring you in on this. Beginning April 11th. So you'll be able to go drink this, support Ukraine. This is a legitimate beer, legitimately brewed, very widely consumed, as I understand it, in Ukraine. A very popular beer, and they're brewing it here, labeling it up.
And it's delicious.
And yeah, you want to talk
if you
about
like
the beer?
red ale.
Red ale.
Red ale. If you like
22% this red ale. No.
I think I only had half a glass.
Greg Vetter is here. It's all on behalf of our friends at the Maryland Lottery. Let yourself play. Got some Betty Boop scratch-offs. The party, it's quiet in here because, it's the calm before the storm. We were here earlier. They're getting ready for this huge celebration. They put us back in the kids' room, although I do think this is the VIP room because it has, stuff going on here. And we have our Ukraine thing. Greg Vetter's our guest from Tessemae, which I haven't even said. I don't think I've said Tessemae more than one time, right? So Tessemae was your...
It's my mom.
Okay.
And it is her nickname. And so her name's Teresa. My dad's from Southern Ohio. And she went...
Bengals fan?
If he's going to choose an Ohio football team, yes.
Year this year if you're a Bengals.
Yes.
I mean, if you've ever been a Bengals fan, this was your time to at least
this was it.
Squeeze it all out. Have some fun.
I have a buddy that's a Bengals fan, and he was squeezing. Squeezing it all out.
Well, Marvin is like family to me through all the years and, our relationship with the Ravens. And, I was wondering how he felt that day. But for anybody, she's from the New England area, and the first time the Red Sox won, man, it was a mess. Everybody was a mess, right? But... close.
Yeah, we were rooting for them.
Okay, fair enough.
We have Ohio blood.
But you didn't grow up there. You're from here. Okay.
Yeah. But
you resemble Tom Brady, but you hear that every day.
I do hear that a lot. I do hear that a lot.
Does, yeah.
And so she goes to a wedding, and Mary Henry's getting married, and all of his cousins' name are Bobby Sue and Ruth Ann, and she's like, "I'm Teresa," and they're like, "Not in these parts, you're not." They're like, "You're Tessemae," and so then that just stuck.
Oh, wow.
And then when email came out, right, years later, she was Tessemae at AOL.com.
Okay.
And so then we were trying to figure out what are we going to name this business. And so I'm going through all these stupid names, and I finally go, Tessemae's All
Greg's
Natural.
Great Green.
Yes. Greg's Own. We're going to name it Greg's Own.
I've heard
I think
that.
that's a riff.
Yeah. You do popcorn too?
Yeah, exactly.
No, so what year are we talking here? What years you play lacrosse? I mean, you're very humble about your lacrosse thing, and everybody that knows you, O'Doherty, all these guys are like, dude, hit him on his lacrosse thing, man. That'll be the sports thing. And I'm like, the sports thing with lacrosse with me is go. Tell me what you know. Because, it's been outside of the realm. And Seaman would kill me about it because he's like, dude, it's hockey on feet.
Yeah.
It's hockey on feet. And I'm like, you love hockey. I'm like, I love hockey because it's on ice. I covered hockey all my life, so that was.
And there's fighting.
Yeah, there's fighting, but that's in the bars in Lacrosse at the Mount Washington Tavern.
Right. That's where the
that was always
is.
at the Green Turtle in Fells Point 30 years ago.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist anymore. But so your lacrosse journey, I guess it comes honest. You looked at it and said, I want to do that.
Yep.
It didn't become because of Cal Ripken or some Gary Gade or a poster on the wall or Michael Jordan or whatever. It came from
me getting stung by bees in the outfield.
Okay, fair enough. You know what, man? I put a baseball. There was a Flintstones tweet today. I retweeted. My wife doesn't follow me on Twitter, but that's okay.
I do follow you on Twitter. I got blocked on Twitter because somebody hacked my account.
I'm only interesting on Twitter. It's the only place I'm interesting. Far more on the radio. But this was a Fred Flintstone cartoon, and they were looking at the television, and it was like a prehistoric television, and it was clearly Dodger Stadium that was drawn on the stadium because you could see the little pavilion and the palm trees, and it's from 1963, 4, when Dodger Stadium happened and Hanna-Barbera was made in California. So it was like one of those things, and I'm like, prehistoric, you know what I mean? Like, that's just like baseball. Even in the prehistoric times, it was prehistoric. You know what I mean? It's a prehistoric sport. It's so old that they're the Flintstones watch. Right. That's how old it is. So I would just say, I'm a baseball guy. Make the case for lacrosse today. Like, through all of it. Are you engaged? Are you going to games? Are you?
I coach all my kids. I have 4 kids. And so I help coach all of them. I just think if you're a kid and you are looking for an active, fun sport where there's some freedom, right? So it's very much like hockey or like soccer.
But it's not set plays in football.
Exactly.
Or pitches in baseball. Right.
You're just,
I got you.
You're running. You're making.
Soccer's totally, right. Hockey would be that way too.
You're right. You're just running. You're making moves. You're getting it done. You get to take all your aggression out. So if you have aggressive kids like I do, you just go, all right, well, go settle it all. And I also think the interesting part so my kids play ice hockey as well.
Okay.
And so when you look at the parents of all of these sports, right? Parents are crazy, right? They come to these games and they're fighting each other. Mm-hmm. But you don't see as much of that in lacrosse and in hockey, well, at least in this area, because I feel like there's this understanding where if you talk too much trash, that kid on the ice is going to get absolutely demolished, right? And so everybody just has this kind of understanding of like, let's root for the team, let's hope it happens. Unlike when my one son was playing soccer, we're sitting there, and I felt like these dads were trying to pick fights every single game we went to. And I came home and I went to my wife, I'm like, we gotta find some other sport that's going on right here because like these dads are looking to fight and they don't understand because in lacrosse you slash somebody, you're just going to absolutely get punched in the face or the next play you're going to get leveled. Whereas some of these sports where there's not that aggressive component, there is no
well, you see what happens in baseball. They throw at the guy's head, they run out, they dance around. I would agree with that, but hockey's over the edge for me. It always kind of has. I covered hockey in the 80s. I thought it was a bad example set for your kids.
The fighting component is, I would say, having a position like an enforcer, I think, is a little over the edge. But I do 100% believe that there needs to be consequences to your actions. So if you run up and cross-check somebody in the back.
2 minutes isn't enough for that.
No.
Right.
So you come back on that field, I hope you get popped.
Well, it polices itself in that way.
It does police itself.
And there's no better example of that than, and we love hockey. We met at a hockey game 19 years ago, right?
There you go.
The example of that would just be the Stanley Cup playoffs where, quite frankly, that shit stops. It just ends.
Yep.
It's over. We're going to play now. All that November, December,
right.
Like, let's play to play. And the way they do in the Olympics where they don't put up with any, and it's a more honest competition. And I feel like that makes Stanley Cup hockey great.
It does make
sometimes
it
you
great.
go a week and there's 8 games a night and there's 3 fights. And that's, and they're not, and they're playing 7 nights in a row. So by game 5, game 6, which you well know, it gets chippy.
It gets chippy.
Greg Vetter's here. You can stay another segment. Can we hang out?
Sure.
Because I want to hear more about the alternate dressings and why we can't find them. And can we break into his trunk when he's using the bathroom and pull some of that cilantro lime out? Greg Vetter's here. It's all brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery. As well, I'll make sure to give some love to Goodwill Industries. Tell everybody how many bags of Goodwill We had so many bags, they brought the truck.
I still have more.
Well, they brought a truck Christmas Eve over because we had so much stuff through all the years because we were moving in January. And we need to find out where we're going to get your dressings as well. And we're going to do that. We're at Heavy Seas. We're celebrating Pravda and Ukraine Brewery in Liev and trying to support them. We're going to be shipping beer everywhere. Hugh Sisson's going to come in and tell us all about the beer. And you're going to tell us more about the dressings. Tessemae, if you're familiar, you guys are like, Essex. I call it Golden Ring. Was that right?
Yeah. We're
that
on.
Ain't Essex. That's Rosedale.
That's
almost Overly.
We call it the Bermuda Triangle. We're right at like Dundalk, Middle River, and Essex.
Dude.
That's where he's from.
Okay, hold on. When we come back, I am going to
settle
it. I'm going to settle it where you are. All right, with the neighbor. Because I went through this. I'll go.
We're on Kelso Drive.
You're in Golden Ring. I'm Nestor. We are WNST. Back for more from Heavy Seas. My wife's sitting in. I'm going to grab Hugh Sisson. He's going to tell his story. We're going to pimp dressing, beer, crab cakes from Cooper's, lottery, Goodwill, and our dear friends, and our Goodwill for our friends over in the Ukraine. We have our Ukraine here and the Putin Drinks Light Beer, which I'm going to – I didn't think I had a blue and gold
I know.
shirt.
I pulled out my blue and gold.
I had a
You're the flag right now. You're dialed in.
Disco, right? All right, she took a half day for this, so the beer's cold. Thank God for that, Hugh. Back for more WNST and Baltimore Positive from Heavy Seas right after this.